You know, if you heard the name Nano Banana just a little while ago, you'd probably picture, well, a really tiny piece of fruit. But today, that name belongs to one of the most powerful AI image engines on the entire planet. So let's get into it. This is the wild story of how a little bit of late-night silliness became the new benchmark for digital art.
Right, so that's the big question, isn't it? How on earth did this happen? How did a name that sounds like it belongs in a kid's lunchbox get attached to software that's completely changing the game for, well, everyone, from pro designers to your uncle making a funny birthday card?
Well, as you might guess, a name like Nano Banana could only come from one place: the middle of the night, probably fueled by way too much coffee and not nearly enough sleep.
Okay, so picture this. A product manager, Naina Raisinghani, is burning the midnight oil, working on this new nano model. She's exhausted, and just as a placeholder, she mashes up the text name with her own nickname, Naina Banana. But here's where it gets good. They sent it out for blind testing, and people didn't just love how powerful the tech was, they fell in love with the name. By the time the marketing team could come up with some serious, corporate-sounding name, it was already too late. The internet had spoken. Nano Banana was here to stay.
But look, a catchy name can only take you so far, right? The real reason Nano Banana exploded is because it took on some of the biggest, most annoying problems that we've all had with older AI image tools. Let's break down these breakthroughs.
First up was the editing problem. For years, if you wanted to seriously edit a photo, you basically needed a degree in Photoshop. We're talking layers and masks and clone stamps. It was complicated, the software was expensive, and it took forever to learn.
Nano Banana's fix for this is called Conversational Editing, and it's amazing. Instead of being a tech operator, you get to be the creative director. You can literally just talk to it. You can say something like, add a fire pit in my backyard, but make it feel like autumn. And the AI doesn't just do it, it understands. It knows a fire should cast a warm glow, and that autumn means the grass should be golden. It gets the vibe.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. All of a sudden, incredibly complex photo editing becomes as easy as describing what you want. It's an absolute game changer.
All right, let's talk about the next huge headache: text. Oh man, if you've ever used older AI art generators, you know the pain. You ask for a simple sign that says, coffee shop, and what you get back looks like some kind of ancient, cursed hieroglyphics.
I mean, just look at the difference here. On the left, you've got that classic AI word salad. And on the right, crisp, perfect, readable text. Nano Banana is one of the very first models that can actually spell properly, and it can do it in pretty much any style you can think of.
And this is why that's such a big deal. This one feature elevates AI art from being just a cool toy to a genuinely useful, functional tool. Now, a small business owner can actually create their own marketing flyer. A teacher can design posters for their classroom. You don't need a whole separate app just to add text anymore.
And what about characters? This was a massive point of frustration. You'd spend ages crafting the perfect character, let's say a cool robot named Sparky, but then you'd ask for a new picture of Sparky at the beach, and the AI would have total amnesia. It would give you a completely different robot every single time.
So, Nano Banana solves this with something called subject consistency. You can basically lock in what a character looks like. You tell it what Sparky looks like one time, and then the AI remembers him, whether you put him on a spaceship, up a snowy mountain, or anywhere else. I just love this quote because it perfectly captures how this feels. It gives independent creators, people writing kids' books or designing brand mascots, the power to tell a consistent story with their visuals, all without needing a whole team of artists. Okay, so the final major hurdle that AI had to clear was that most of these models were basically frozen in time. They were trained on data from a few years ago, so they had no clue about current events, new inventions, or any recent pop culture. Being from Google, Nano Banana has a secret weapon. It's connected to a search brain. They call this concept grounding. It hooks the AI up to real-time information from Google Search, which means its creations can actually be factually accurate and up-to-date.
And this is where it gets super practical for real-world stuff. It means you can ask it to draw the newest model of an electric car, and it'll actually get the details right. You can visualize a specific home renovation project. You can even create an accurate diagram to explain a science concept. It's the bridge between pure fantasy and functional design.
So when you put all of these pieces together, the easy editing, the perfect text, the consistent characters, and that connection to reality, what do you really have? You get this. This is the big takeaway. Nano Banana is just completely lowering the barrier to entry for creativity. It's taking the kind of power that used to be locked away in professional design studios and putting it into the hands of anyone who has an idea.
Ultimately, it just proves that the best technology isn't always cold and corporate. Sometimes it can be fun, friendly, maybe even a little bit banana. And it leaves us with this really exciting question to think about. If these kinds of tools really do make everyone a creator, what in the world are we all going to create next?